What if this anguish you feel, this sensation of being a loose piece in an indifferent universe, is not a flaw in your design? What if the pain of separation, which echoes in the silence of your room, is actually a calling? Imagine for a moment that this feeling isn't a sign that something is broken in you, but rather a sacred tension, an invisible thread pulling your soul back to a melody you have forgotten, but that your spirit still remembers in every fiber. You were taught to see the world and yourself in fragments. Life became a collection of roles to play, of tasks to complete, of disconnected moments that rarely touch. This education in separation feeds a profound loneliness, a pain that has no name, but that weighs upon your chest. It's the feeling that something essential has been lost, or perhaps carefully hidden from you. There is a reason you feel this way, a reason that the truths of the modern world cannot explain. Ancient sages, like Hermes Trismegistus, warned us that behind our perception of isolation, there is an invisible bond that secretly weaves all of existence together. The great seeker Manly P. Hall perceived this same trap in the contemporary spiritual journey. He observed how people, in their sincere quest, end up ignoring the single law that governs the multiplicity of forms, confusing diversity with disconnection. We chase after external solutions, new methods, more knowledge, hoping to fill a void that seems insatiable. But the hunger that pulses beneath all these searches is not for more information. It is an instinctive call for wholeness, a desire for belonging that no object, achievement, or relationship can completely satisfy. It is the memory of the all calling you back home. It is precisely at this point that the veil of illusion begins to tear. The ancient Hermetic principle, "the all is mind," is not just a philosophical phrase. It is the master key that unlocks the door of perception. To truly understand this is not an intellectual exercise, but an act of surrender and remembrance. It is to allow yourself to feel the single principle that animates the distant stars, the stones beneath your feet, and the soul that inhabits your body with the same breath of life. Stay here for a moment. Breathe. Together, let us unveil the one universal law that silently orchestrates every beat of your heart, every atom of the universe, and every thought that arises in your mind. This is not something you need to learn. It is something you only need to allow yourself to remember. There is a vibration you carry, a unique signature of your soul, but it often feels blocked. This blockage manifests as a persistent anxiety, a fog of indecision that hangs over your choices, turning your mind into a labyrinth of broken reflections. You look within, trying to find yourself, but you see only disconnected fragments. The person who worries, the professional who needs to perform, the child who is still afraid, the dreamer who feels guilty. You feel scattered, pulled in 1,000 directions, because you were led to believe that this fragmentation is your true nature. This belief is the great distorted myth that governs the modern world. The idea that reality is made of isolated pieces, and that your life is just a set of parts that need to be fixed separately. We are taught to manage the symptoms, to optimize the fragments, to fix what seems broken, without ever realizing that the mirror itself was never truly shattered. The fracture is not in your essence, but in the way you were taught to perceive yourself. This incessant search to fix pieces is the source of your weariness, for you are fighting against an illusion. The truth that can change the nature of the problem is this: The one law reveals that all these divisions you feel are merely ripples in a single vast ocean of consciousness. Your anxiety is not a strange entity attacking you. Your indecision is not a character flaw that defines you. Both are echoes of a deeper dissonance, the forgetting of your own uninterrupted continuity. There is immense power in understanding this. You were never broken. You were always in the process of remembering. So, allow yourself a simple act of remembrance. Tomorrow, upon opening your eyes, before the voices of the world begin to speak, place your hand over your heart. Take a single, conscious, present breath. Feel that breath, and with your attention, follow the stream of life that flows from your chest to the tips of your fingers. Don't just imagine it. Feel the current of warmth, the pulse that flows without barriers from your center to your periphery. Feel the continuity that exists beneath the sensation of separation. In that silent moment, the mirror becomes whole again. The metaphor to hold in your soul is that of an ancient cathedral stained glass window. When we look closely at a shard of glass, we might mistake that fragment for a separate light, forgetting that it is one and the same sun that passes through and illuminates all the pieces, creating the beauty of the complete image. You are not the shards you perceive. You are the unified light that passes through them all. Think now about that profound weariness that sometimes inhabits you, an exhaustion that seems to come from the soul. It is not the satisfying tiredness of a productive day, but an emotional drain that saps you from within, a weight that appears even when you have made no physical effort. This constant fatigue is one of the clearest signs the universe can give you. It is a precise diagnosis, a message from your spirit telling you that you are rowing against the current of a universal vibration. You exhaust yourself because you spend immense energy fighting against an invisible flow, trying to force doors that should open gently. The concept, whispered for millennia in traditions of wisdom, is that every thought and every emotion you nurture emits a frequency, like a musical note sent out into the cosmos. This vibration resonates with the great law of existence, shaping reality from the unseen. When your thoughts and feelings are in conflict with the natural flow of this law, when they are rooted in fear, lack, and separation, you are, in essence, trying to swim up a waterfall. The effort to stay in the same place is monumental, and the feeling of progress becomes a wearing illusion. It is here that a counterintuitive truth reveals itself, a wisdom that directly challenges the culture of incessant effort. Believing that you need to force, fight, and exhaust yourself to get what you want only creates more fracture in your resonance with the universe. True alignment, true peace, and true power arise from gentle tuning, not from brute force. It is the subtle difference between trying to break down a locked door and sliding the right key into the lock. Power does not lie in the intensity of your force, but in the precision of your attunement. So, when you feel the silence call to you, allow yourself an experience of attunement. Find a place where you can be for a few minutes without interruption. Close your eyes and begin to chant a single tone, a simple vowel like ah or om, continuously and softly. The exact note does not matter. What matters is your full attention. Feel the vibration begin in your throat and spread to your chest. With your awareness, follow this pulsation as it fills every cell of your body. You are not creating a sound from scratch. You are attuning yourself to a frequency that already exists within you, adjusting your energy field. The analogy for this practice is that of a musician tuning their instrument with reverence. To tune a violin, you do not strike it, but you adjust its strings with delicacy, listening attentively until each one vibrates in perfect unison with the symphony of existence. Your emotional exhaustion is just a sign that one of your inner strings is out of tune. This practice is the gentle and loving act of turning the tuning peg, bringing your being back into harmony with the music of the all. There is a silent saboteur within you, a subtle programming that operates in the shadows of your consciousness. It manifests in those patterns you fight so hard to change, but which always return. These are the habits, the emotional reactions, and the cycles of self-sabotage that seem to go against everything you desire for yourself. You inherit much more than your eye color. You carry in your cells the echoes of fears, sorrows, and beliefs of scarcity from past generations. And this programming often keeps you trapped in a harmony contrary to that of the cosmos, making you feel powerless, as if you were fated to repeat a story you did not write. This feeling of being trapped in a cycle is not just your impression. It has a correspondence in the physical world, a bridge that science is beginning to cross. Studies in epigenetics show that stress, the environment, and most importantly, your perception of reality, can alter the way your genes are expressed. Think of these as light switches on your DNA, which are turned on or off by experiences and emotions. The chronic stress of your ancestors, or even your own, may have activated survival patterns that today, on your journey of awakening, have become obsolete and only reinforce the dissonance with the universal law. Here, however, lies an alchemical secret of immense power, a revelation that gives you back the reins of your biology. If the perception of the world can flip these switches, then a conscious change in your perception can also deactivate them. You can rewrite the instructions your cells receive. Your daily, focused, and felt intention has the capacity to reconfigure these epigenetic markers, aligning your biology with the vibration of your soul. You are not a victim of your genetic code. You are the silent programmer who can rewrite the blueprint. For this, there is a ritual of conscious reprogramming, a sacred act to be practiced at the portal between worlds. Every night in that liminal state, just before falling asleep, when the rational mind quiets down and the subconscious becomes receptive, affirm the truth you wish to embody, not as a request, but as a declaration of what already is. I am an aligned and harmonious being. My cells respond to the frequency of wholeness. My body flows in resonance with universal peace. Speak these words in your heart as if you were merely describing an existing reality. You will be giving your body a new set of operating instructions, a new song for it to dance to. Hold this metaphor in your being. Imagine your DNA as a vast and complex musical score. For generations, perhaps your lineage has played the same melancholy tune. But you now have discovered that you can be the composer, not just the musician who performs the piece. By intentionally revising a single note, a single limiting belief, and replacing it with a note of harmony, the entire symphony of your life and your health begins to transform. Observe for a moment the dialogue that ceaselessly unfolds within you, the voice of that inner narrator who comments, judges, and defines your reality. For many sensitive souls, this is the site of a chronic blockage, a constant stream of self-criticism and negative talk. We have been led to believe a fundamental lie, that our thoughts are just harmless, ephemeral shadows with no real power in the world. But every thought you sustain is a seed. Every word you repeat in your silence is an incantation that shapes the energy around you, whether to create or to limit. The most celebrated of the Hermetic principles holds the key to this understanding. As above, so below. As within, so without. This is not a mere philosophical quote. It is the instruction manual for the universe. Your mind and matter are not separate entities. They mirror each other through the universal law. Your inner world of thoughts does not just reflect the outer world you experience. It actively projects it. The universe does not give you what you ask for with words, but what you are in your dominant vibration. And what you are, in essence, is a living composite of your most recurrent thoughts. This perception leads us to a powerful shift in focus, a true silent revolution. The great work of transformation never happens out there in the world of circumstances, but always in here, in the sanctuary of your mind. Changing your mental patterns does not just alter your mood or your perspective. This change restructures the very energy fields that give form to your physical reality. To truly change your life, you must first dare to change the frequency of your mind. This is the great work of the modern alchemist. To make this power tangible, you can perform an act of personal alchemy. Take a notebook, which can serve as your sacred laboratory. On one page, write down a limiting belief that haunts you, a phrase your mind repeats: "I am not good enough. Good things never last for me." Look at these words. Recognize them for what they are: an old and weakened frequency. Now, on the line below, with intention and clarity, transform this phrase into its empowering and true opposite. I am the embodiment of worth and potential. I am an open channel for lasting abundance and joy. Repeat this new truth. Read it, feel it, breathe it, until its signal becomes stronger and more real than the echo of the old lie. The sacred symbol for this work is the highest aspiration of alchemy, the transmutation of lead into gold. Your limiting thoughts, your pain, and your doubts are not enemies to be eliminated. They are the lead, your raw material. Through the concentrated fire of your attention and the catalyst of a higher truth, you perform the alchemy of thought. You learn to transmute the basic and heavy perceptions of your life into illuminated and golden forms of existence. There is a pain that some souls carry that seems older than this life, an inner wound that finds no cause in your personal history. It is a silent melancholy, a sense of loss for a home you do not remember, but for which your heart yearns. If you have ever felt this nostalgia for a place you have never visited, or a grief for a beauty the world seems to have forgotten, know that this is not a figment of your imagination. It is a memory. It is a distant echo, a vibration from a mythic past that still resonates in your energy field. The esoteric thread that runs through many wisdom traditions points to a great rupture, a collective trauma in human consciousness. Readings like those of Edgar Cayce on Atlantis, seen not as literal history, but as a powerful metaphor for the soul, describe a time when humanity lived in alignment with the universal law. But this power was misused. The narrative of the fall of Atlantis is a cautionary tale about what happens when the connection to the all is used for purposes of separation, control, and personal power, resulting in a fracture in the global harmony, a cataclysm not just of land, but of consciousness, which imprinted a wound upon the collective soul. What you feel is the echo of this ancient rupture. Here, however, a profound revelation offers a path of healing and purpose. Healing this ancestral wound within your own being is much more than an act of personal peace. It is an act of planetary service. By bringing light and acceptance to this memory of pain in your field, you help to mend the cosmic circuit that was damaged. You become a point of repair in the vast network of collective consciousness. By healing yourself, you are not just freeing yourself from an ancient weight, but also helping to heal the world, reconnecting a flow of energy that was interrupted ages ago. To weave this healing, you can perform a ritual of reconnection in your silence. Sit or stand with your spine erect, gently closing your eyes. Visualize a silver cord of light that is born in your heart and descends, passing through your body and anchoring itself deep in the crystalline, pulsating core of the earth. Feel this connection, this force that grounds you. Now visualize this same cord rising from your heart, passing through the top of your head and extending to the heart of the galaxy, connecting you to the starry cosmos above. You are the living bridge between heaven and earth. Breathe along this thread of light, inhaling the energy of the earth into your heart and exhaling it to the cosmos, then inhaling the light of the cosmos into your heart and exhaling it to the earth. The image to hold is that of an old and damaged electrical grid being repaired. Just as reconnecting a single wire can bring light back to an entire region, by restoring and strengthening this cord of light in your being, you reignite the flow of universal energy through you. You remember your true and sacred function, to be a pillar of light, a conscious conduit for the forces of life, helping to weave anew the tapestry of unity. Do you live with a subtle but persistent dissonance? That feeling of having a forgotten purpose, a sense that you have a role to play in this great theater of life, but you have lost your script. It is as if your soul knows there is a script recorded in the Akasha, the record of all that is, but for some reason you can no longer read it. This is one of the deepest pains for an old soul, to carry the certainty of a mission and at the same time the agony of feeling disconnected from it, as if hearing a very distant call but being unable to decipher the words. The Akashic vision, when understood in its essence, offers profound clarity. The Akasha is not a dusty library in some distant plane, but the vibrational and living memory of the universe. And the universal law, this thread we are following, is the pen with which every intention, emotion, and event is inscribed in this cosmic record. This record is not locked away. It is a pulsating field of information, accessible not through mental effort, but through attuned perception. Your history, your mission, everything is imprinted in this field. And it is here that an unexpected turn occurs in the seeker's journey. Accessing these records is not an act of psychic prowess or an exotic ritual reserved for a few. It is something much simpler, more intimate and closer. It is the act of feeling the silent pulse of the law itself in the sanctuary of your heart. The entire universe, with all its memory, is encoded in the silent vibration of your own presence. You have been searching for answers in an infinite library when the sacred book has been in your hands all along. So when the outer world quiets down, allow yourself an experience of deep listening. It is the meditation of the heart's echo. Place your hand on your chest. Breathe deeply, and as you exhale, release the noise of the day, the worries, the stories the mind tells. Now listen, but do not just listen to the physical beat of your heart. Listen to what is behind it. Listen to the space between one beat and the next. In that silence, there is a subtle hum, a resonance, a field of stillness that vibrates with the code of the universe. Do not try to decipher it, just feel it. This is the pulse of the Akasha. It is the sound of your eternal nature. The image to hold in your soul is that of an ancient letter written in invisible ink. The paper seems blank, with no answers. But when you warm it with the gentle flame of your focused attention, with the warmth of the presence in your heart, the hidden words begin to appear. In the same way, your silent and loving attention, directed inward, reveals the hidden script of your existence. The answers you seek are not in words that come from outside, but in a frequency you can feel within. Now, let us bring this awareness into your body, the sacred vessel that shelters you on this journey. There is an invisible friction that can disturb your connection to the law of unity, and it is called chronic stress. When the body lives in a constant state of alert, it releases a hormone called cortisol, which distorts your ability to perceive and incorporate the subtle vibrations of the universe. Cortisol is, in its essence, the hormone of separation. It prepares you for threat, for division, for survival. And in this state, your entire being, from your cells to your perception, becomes attuned to the frequency of fragmentation. It is impossible to hear the symphony of the cosmos when your body's internal alarms are ringing non-stop. It is at this point that a beautiful scientific bridge reveals itself, connecting ancient wisdom to modern biology. Neuroscientists have discovered that a balanced nervous system and harmonious neurotransmitters allow the brain to enter a state of high coherence, producing what are called gamma waves. This brainwave pattern is associated with peak states of consciousness, deep insights, feelings of bliss, and a profound sense of unity with all of life. Gamma waves are the brain pattern that resonates with cosmic unity. Your own biology, therefore, has an innate capacity to attune to this universal law. The counterintuitive revelation is that you do not need anything external to cultivate this state. You can create it intentionally and naturally, using the most fundamental rhythms of your own body as tools. Deep, synchronized breathing, combined with a stable ocular focus, has the power to restore the harmonic rhythms of your brain. This is a form of neuroalchemy, the art of using consciousness to transform your own internal chemistry, and thus your perception of reality. There is a protocol you can apply anywhere for just 7 minutes to promote this coherence. Calm your body. Begin to take slow, deep breaths, perhaps inhaling for a count of 4, holding for 4, and exhaling for 6. As you do this, rest your gaze gently on a single, fixed point in front of you. There is no need to force the focus. Just rest your attention. The rhythmic breathing regulates your nervous system, while the stable gaze quiets the analytical mind. Together, these two simple acts create the perfect internal conditions for brain coherence to arise naturally. The metaphor for this process is like tuning an old radio. The static of stress and a constantly wandering mind obscure the signal of your favorite station. Adjusting the rhythm of your breath is like turning the frequency dial, and stabilizing your gaze is like adjusting the antenna to pick up the signal clearly. When the two are aligned, the clear broadcast of universal harmony, which was always present, can finally be heard without interference. Perhaps the most universal pain of all is emotional emptiness, that deep loneliness that arises from the incessant search for love and connection on the outside. We spend our lives looking for validation in the eyes of others, hoping that someone will fill our empty spaces, without realizing that this external search is the very source of our pain. We feel separate from love because we believe it is something we must receive from another, equally separate being, without ever having learned that our heart is, in itself, an inexhaustible source of connection to all that exists. It is at this point that the most advanced science meets the most sacred wisdom. The revelation comes from studies on the biophysics of the heart, which show that our heart emits a powerful electromagnetic field, the strongest of all the body's organs, that extends several feet around us. This field is real, measurable, and interacts with the fields of other people and the environment. It is the physical echo of the law of unity, the tangible proof that you are never truly separate. Your heart is not just an organ that pumps blood. It is a powerful transmitter of vibrational information to the universe. This scientific fact leads us to a transformative understanding. If your heart is constantly transmitting a signal to the unified field, it means you have the power to change the quality of that transmission. By consciously cultivating states of heart coherence, such as gratitude, compassion, appreciation, or care, you are not just healing yourself. You are sending a wave of harmony into the collective vibration, synchronizing yourself with the pulse of the world. You can literally change the energetic environment around you, not through struggle or effort, but through the elevation of your own heart's coherence. In any moment of stress, disconnection, or loneliness, you can generate a coherence burst in your being. It is a simple and profound act. Pause for a moment. Place your hand on the center of your chest. Take 3 slow, deep breaths, imagining that the air enters and exits through your heart. On the 3rd breath, intentionally bring to mind a genuine feeling of gratitude or affection for something or someone. Feel this emotion fill your chest. And then, visualize this feeling expanding from your heart in waves of light and harmony, enveloping you and everything around you. The final image for this chapter is that of a stone being gently cast into a serene lake. A single state of coherence in a single heart sends ripples across the entire cosmic membrane, touching everything and everyone in a subtle but real way. You are never alone. Your heart, with its silent pulsation and its invisible field, proves this at every moment of your existence. You are a center of loving influence in the ocean of life. You have felt the thread now. You have felt the connection. This ancient Hermetic secret, the universal law that unites all things, has ceased to be a distant theory and has become a living truth within you. You have felt it manifest in your mind as the alchemy of thought, in your body as the language of your biology, in your heart as the pulsating energy field, and in the world as the mirror of your vibration. It is one and the same law, reflected in all aspects of your being, patiently waiting to be rediscovered. The unifying power of the Akasha is the living memory of this law, and your every act is a thread in the great tapestry of reality. every conscious breath, every thought you choose to nurture, every emotion you allow to flow through your heart. All of this inscribes and weaves your piece of this cosmic work of art. You are not just a spectator of life. You are an active co-author of the universal record. And now you have recalled that you possess the tools of practical alchemy, the daily rituals of resonance that stitch your personal energy field into the great cosmic loom. This is not a path to escape the world, but an invitation to embody more deeply within it, with the full memory of who you truly are, in your totality and power. The final invitation, therefore, is simple and gentle. There is no need to do everything at once. Just choose one practice for tonight. Only one. Whether it is chanting a single tone in the silence of your room, generating a coherence burst in your heart for 3 breaths, or just breathing consciously while resting your gaze. Choose one of these threads, and as you practice it, feel yourself with reverence and joy, reassuming your sacred place at the universal loom. If this journey has resonated with your spirit, leave a silent acknowledgement in the comments, an affirmation not for the world, but for your own soul. To continue on this journey of remembrance and awakening, we invite you to subscribe to the channel and to like this video. And remember, it is not about what you want, but about who you are